Molly Carmel, and this is the podcast I always wish existed, a bite-sized, on-the-ground spiritual note that can shift your thinking and your outlook on life to help make us all a little bit more awake, alive, and ascending. So today I want to talk about something that happened when my best friend Michelle stayed at my house and what it taught me about asking for what you need, even when you're supposed to be taking care of someone else. So Michelle stayed at my house recently to do this thing that we call book boot camp. She's writing a book, and the idea is that she leaves her kids and her busy life behind and comes to my house. We call my house the Zen Den, and it is true to its name, Ascenders. Come on over anytime. So I make her delicious food. I get her nervous system all regulated. I take away her phone. I put on her do not disturb. And she is able to really, really thrive creatively. And we did this once before for like a month and a half. And she wrote her whole book. And we just did it for 2 days so she could do the finishing edits. And I was so excited because I don't know, it's such a fun time together. Like, when at our age do we get to have like a 3 day sleepover with our besties? Amazing. Now, listen, like many of us, Michelle has a really hard time letting people take care of her. So it's such an honor and a pleasure to be the one who gets to do it, truly. And honestly, she would do the same for me in a second. So win, 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 win. The morning after she slept over, like the first night, I woke up ready Freddy for my 6 a.m. hardcore, awful, but amazing Pilates class. And I do this like 3 times a week, and it's like a setter for me. It's just a really important part of my own self-care to make sure I take care of my body in this way. And when I woke up, I realized that Michelle's car was blocking me in. And so my first instinct was to like fawn, right? Was to have that fawn response, just to say like, you know what, it's fine. I'll just figure out a workout here. It's no big deal. Because my role was taking care of her, right? I didn't want to disturb her sleep. Like, of all the things, she's supposed to be like rested and her nervous system's supposed to be regulated. And I didn't want to be a burden. Like, I didn't want to make my needs an inconvenience. But I don't know, maybe it's just because I do so many daily ascents or I sit in so many circles. Like, who knows at this point? But I just kind of thought it through. I just had a pause. I just had a graceful pause. And first of all, I know Michelle, right? She has 2 kids that are like 6 and 4. So she's a really good sleeper. And my Zen Den is really cozy. It really provides a space for sleep. And so I knew she would probably be able to get back to sleep. And then I thought through my whole day how, like, my ability to care for her and do my own job on top of that and just get things done in general, like, would be somewhat impacted if I didn't get to my workout. Like, obviously, it's not a world ending thing if I miss one class, but I knew prioritizing myself, taking the risk, asking her for the keys quietly and quickly would benefit my day. And side note, good podcast, and it would be like a brave and wonderful thing for me to do. So I want to say it was not easy for me when I went upstairs and like very gently woke her, asked for her keys, got them very quickly, and left. And I was in the car being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I went to class, and class was awesome. And I got back at 7:10. And here's the best part. Okay. Here's the best part. She texted me from upstairs at 8:30, an hour and 20 minutes after I got home. And her text said, oh my God, I slept so well. I had so many dreams. I love it here. So she was fine. I mean, text like that, she was more than fine. And I got to take care of myself and take care of her. It wasn't one or the other. I got them all. And that brings me to today's pocket sage. It comes from Cheryl Richardson's book, The Art of Extreme Self-Care. And she's a New York Times bestselling author, and she's a really well-known coach, and she's been teaching about self-care for like 20 years. And she writes this: I've come to understand that selfishness leads to selflessness. When we care deeply for ourselves, we naturally begin to care for others, our families, our friends, our greater global community, and the environment in a healthier and more effective way. We tell the truth. We make choices from love instead of guilt and obligation. That's a good one, right? Let me read that again for those of you in the back. I've come to understand that selfishness leads to selflessness. When we care deeply for ourselves, we naturally begin to care for others, our families, our friends, our greater global community, and the environment in a healthier and more effective way. We tell the truth. We make choices from love instead of guilt and obligation. So, the word of the day today is asking. Asking is one of the hardest things for so many of us, myself included, especially those of us who are caretakers or those of us who pride ourselves on being the ones who give, not the ones who take, not the ones who need. And I don't know, I think there's a big reason for that, at least for me. Like when we ask for something, we put ourselves at risk of rejection and we put ourselves in a super vulnerable position where someone could say no. And for a lot of us, that feels really threatening, not just for our comfort, but also for our sense of importance. Like if I ask and they say no, what does that mean about how much I matter? So we don't ask. We just handle it ourselves, right? We get the disease of I'm fine, it's no big deal, I got it. And we make ourselves really small when it's not fine. We don't got it, right? But asking is actually an act of trust. Hear that. It's actually an act of trust. It's trusting that the other person can handle it. It's trusting that your needs matter. It's trusting that the relationship can hold both of you having needs at the very same time. And so when I asked Michelle for her keys, I was trusting her. I was trusting she wouldn't be angry. I was trusting she could go back to sleep. And I was trusting that our friendship was strong enough to hold on to my needs too. And so asking isn't weakness, it's strength. It's how we stay in connection instead of moving into resentment. And listen, this is a hard one for so many of us, but we don't have to abandon ourselves to take care of others. My first instinct, and frankly, it's my first instinct a lot of the time, it's to fawn, right? To skip my workout, to pretend I don't have needs. Because especially in this one where I was supposed to be being of service to Michelle. But it's not really generosity, it's really self abandonment. And I don't know, in my experience, self abandonment always has a cost. Always, 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 always. And that cost might not show up immediately, but it accumulates, right? Every time we say, I'm fine when it's not fine, we're making a small withdrawal from our own account. And every time we skip what we need to take care of someone else, we're teaching ourselves that we don't matter. And over time, that really can build into resentment, exhaustion. For some of us, a very quiet rage that gets very leaky and comes out sideways at yourself, at the people you love, at the world, like you name it, it leaks. And again, like me skipping a workout is not the end of the day. I promise you that, right? But I probably would have been a little bit off and maybe a little bit resentful and maybe a little bit depleted. And the person who probably would have suffered for that would have been Michelle, the person I was supposed to be taking care of, because she would have gotten a less full, less present version of me. And so asking for what I needed allowed for me to show up fully. I got to take care of my body and my mind and feel good about myself. And then I got to pour all of that into taking care of her. And that's the thing about asking. It's not just for you, it's for everyone around you. Because when you ask for what you need, you stay full. And when you stay full, you have more to give. And when you have more to give, everyone benefits. Win, 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 win. So if you're someone who struggles to ask, who's always saying, I'm fine, I got it, it's no big deal, when it's not fine, you don't got it, and it is a big deal, right? If you're someone who skips your own needs to take care of everyone else, why don't we consider trying something different? Just ask, especially when it feels uncomfortable, especially when you're supposed to be the caretaker. especially when it's 5:40 in the morning and you need someone's keys. Just ask. Let's see what's possible. And so here's your reflective question for the day. Where in your life have you been abandoning your own needs to take care of someone else? And what would it look like to ask for what you need instead? And listen, if you're someone who struggles to set boundaries, someone who abandons yourself to take care of everyone else and then uses food to fill the gap when your own needs go unmet, welcome home. Welcome home. In my Stop Starting Over system, we have a whole module on boundaries, self boundaries, boundaries to others, asking for what we need, the whole nine. Because, like, learning how to prioritize yourself so you have something to give is a real core of healing from an eating disorder. And so I'm very curious about working with you. And if you're curious about working with me, schedule a call with me. You can see it in the show notes, or you can go to my website, mollycarmel.com. And if this episode hit home for you, and you know it will hit home for some of your soon to be Ascender friends, send it out. We are looking to grow the Ascender crew. And as you well know, I am right here with you, Ascenders, learning to ask for what I need so I can show up fully for the people I love. We rise together. Until next time.